everyone, it's Sherry. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. Y'all, let's do some more fun and practical paper crafting. Stay tuned. Welcome to my channel. I am so glad that you decided to stop by. And thank you to everyone who is supporting me in so many positive ways. I really, truly appreciate it. Today we're going to make a little notebook with a protective cover. And we're going to be using Dollar Tree chopping mats to do it. And we're not going to be using staples, glue, or metal rings. So y'all know what time it is. It's time to make it. All right, y'all, so here is a closer look at today's awesome project. When finished, it is going to measure 7 by 4 3/4. And when finished, we're going to have 60 pages of blank writing space. So here's what we're going to need to make it. We're going to need 15 pages of 9.5 by 6 7/8 writing paper. And I'm just using regular decorative printer paper. Then I have my inside cover. And this is going to measure 10 by 6 7/8. And then I have a piece of the Dollar Tree chopping mat. And the chopping mat will measure 10 by 7. If you don't have the chopping mat, you can actually substitute acetate for this if you want, or you can leave this part off altogether and just go with this. And then to hold it all together, we're going to be using this beautiful crinkle seam binding. So let's get started. So first we're going to start with our chopping mat that measures 9 3/4 by 7. On the 9 3/4 inch side, we are going to score at 4 3/4 and at 5. And that is going to give us that protective jacket cover. And then I'll just go over those score marks with my big old spatula. So now we have our jacket. So then we'll bring in the paper jacket cover that measures 9 3/4 by 6 7/8. And again, we're going to score at 4 3/4 and at 5. And let's just go ahead, fold and burnish those score marks. And so we should be able to fit this right on the inside of this piece. If you notice that you have any hanging over, we'll fix that in just a minute. So now we're going to take the 15 pieces of 9.5 by 6 7/8 inch writing paper, and we're just going to fold them in half. Now I have already folded the rest of these, but I wanted to show you that fold process. So then we just take these and we start putting them inside of each other, one after another. And when you do that, you're going to notice that you have a lot of them have been pushed forward, because that's going to happen when you're placing the papers inside. It just starts forcing the one that you put in last towards the front. So easy fix for that. We're going to bring in our book. We're going to go ahead and put that in, and then we're just going to trim to remove all of that excess and a little bit of the book, because we know that it was protruding just a little bit. So I am going to use my finger blade. Make sure that you have a nice sharp blade when you're trimming like this, and we're just going to trim through all of these layers until we have removed the pieces that are sticking out. All right, so now that we have trimmed off the edge, you can see just how nice this looks. We could leave it just as it is, but I do want to round my corners. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and remove those inside pieces. Then I'm going to take my scissors, and with the inside cover pressed against the outside cover, I am just going to do some light rounding. That's all. And this is something you can do with the corner rounder. So there we have our nice rounded corners. And I am just going to take the inside pieces, bring my papers to the end, and then I'm just going to angle those corners just a little bit. So you can see how that looks. And so now we put it in, everything looks all nice and professional. I am just going to open this to remove these pages again. I'm going to bring in my piercer. You can use your hole punch if you happen to have one. I am going to use a paper piercer for those of you who don't have a hole punch. So I am going to bring in my clip so that I can keep this in place. And now I can take my piercer and I am just going to pierce a hole like that. And then I'll pierce a hole here at the bottom. And I'm going to take that piercer and just go back through that hole and make it a little bit bigger. Same thing on this end. We're just going to make the hole slightly larger. So there we have our two holes. Now I'm going to take those inside papers and place them in. And then I'm just going to open this. And then I want to make sure that the fold is in the center of the spine. I am going to take one clip, place it down, and now I'll go back through that hole until I have gone through. And you can see on the inside there where I've hit that spine. And we're going to do the same thing down here at the bottom. So we're just going to take our piercer, and I'm just rotating it to get it to go through. So I'm going to go back through on this end and open that hole just a little bit more. And we'll do the same thing up here. Just making that hole larger. And so now I'll bring in my crinkle seam binding, and I am just going to punch this through and pull it out this end. And then I'll take this part, and then I'm just going to pull it through that opening. So there we have our piece on the inside. So now we'll take this piece of seam binding and we're just going to push it through the holes that we made in the jacket. So there's one, and we'll go ahead and get this one through. I am using my piercer for this part because it helps me to push it through. And then we just pull it through. And now that we have them both in, on this one, I tied at the top. And I think I'm going to do the same thing here. So I need to pull a little bit of this in so I can make this longer to pull up. So once I have it in, I'm just going to pull it nice and tight like that. And then I'll tie a knot. And then I'll use my big old spatula to get everything nice and crisp. And then the last thing that I'm going to do to mine is just personalize it for the person that I'm going to give this to. And so I'm using stickers. And there we have a finished 7 by 4 3/4 inch protected notebook. So if you wanted to make these refillable, guys, if you're giving these as a gift or you're selling them, all you have to do is go ahead and pre-fold some papers. Go ahead and punch those holes. And that way, when it needs to be refilled, all you need to do is untie it and replace those papers. Super easy peasy. So I'm going to bring that first one back in so that you can see just how gorgeous these are and how easy they were to make. We didn't need any glue. We didn't need any staples. We simply needed to be able to punch holes and then something to tie it off with. So if you wanted to, you could use twine, ribbon, whatever it is you want to use to give this that cuteness. But you can see just how functional these really are and how cute they are. So we do have this beautiful swan paper on the inside, but we're also getting that frosted look by using one of the Dollar Tree chopping mats. And I'm using one of the new chopping mats and not the older ones. So in a previous video, I showed you the difference between the new and the old, and I'll link that video below so that you can see it. But either one is going to be beautiful for this project. Doesn't matter which one you're choosing. So guys, I hope that you have enjoyed yet another way we can make our own notebooks. We can customize them to fit how we want them to look, not necessarily how they are marketed to us. If you have liked this video, and I certainly hope that you have, please hit the like button. If you are not a subscriber to my channel, I would love to have you join this amazing online crafting family. You guys, as always, please be safe, Be kind. Be the reason someone smiles today. Happy crafting, and we'll chat later. Bye.